Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, February 17th, 2023. We made it to the weekend, guys. It has been a week. It's been a busy week. I feel like I got a lot done, but I feel like I have a lot of work I still need to do. It doesn't feel like the weekend to me, but hopefully it is for you guys, especially all you guys listen on the audio only version on the podcast. Hopefully you're having a good run or a good commute home. Maybe you're listening to this on a Saturday morning for your long run. In that case, I hope the weather is nice and warm for you. It was a little bit chilly for my run today. In fact, I just got back. I'm like straight out of the car, coming back from the run, I did make a cup of coffee, and now I'm right back downstairs so I can start the live stream with you guys. And everyone watching this on YouTube later, but not live, welcome to you guys as well. Maybe it is Friday night for you guys. Hopefully you're not watching this on a Friday night, unless you're like relaxing after dinner or something like that. But maybe this is a good like Saturday morning after breakfast, something like that. Maybe that'll work. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. Frank says it's the last live stream for a while, right? Yes. So I got to follow up because I actually don't know when my flight is. And I also have to check to see if I need do I need to present my vaccine card to go to Germany now? Do I need to get a negative test before I go? That I haven't traveled internationally, or I have to think about that for a while. So I got to figure all that stuff out. But I think my flight is supposed to be Sunday night. I think that things got moved. So I'll be leaving from Sunday, I don't know, at some point, to Thursday, I think. So we might have a live stream Friday. We might not. I might be totally wrecked from all the travel, so I'm not sure. But it very well could be like no live stream next week, but I'm not sure. I'll update you guys once I know a little bit more information. I'll make a post on the YouTube page for the Kofuzi Run Club so you guys can kind of know what's going on. But it might be the last live stream for a while because I'm going to that country that I guess I didn't need to keep a complete secret. I'm going to Germany, which I'm very excited about. I don't think I've ever been to Germany outside of being in an airport before. So, yeah, I'm, you know what? I feel like it's the beginning of my Tokyo taper. And, normally these days we all associate taper time with lots of bagels. I'm going to do a taper with just pretzels, German pretzels. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if that works. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be great. Eliza says, hi, CoFam. Hope everyone's doing well. Great having Philly on yesterday. Thank you for having cool and different content. Well, thanks. I'm glad you guys liked it. I had a great time talking to her just because I've been following her channel for a while, and it's good to kind of get her perspective. And I enjoy bringing in friends. So that I think that's nice. It also is kind of takes a little bit of a load off for me because then I don't have to I don't carry the live stream. You guys do because I'm interacting with you guys, but then I don't have to talk for an entire hour. So that makes it a lot easier, and it's a lot of fun as well because it just switches things up a little bit. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying that. All right, Sean Devlin, he says, hey everyone with the wave. He did a 3-mile test run this morning. Oh, that's good. I thought it was supposed to be 2-mile. 3-mile test run went pretty well. A little sore now, but hey, whatever. Long run is probably 45 to 50 miles on the Peloton tomorrow. Okay, well, you're moving. You're still staying fit. So I'm glad that the test went well. Kelvin Wong wants to know, today's video is about the Brooks Catamount 2, which is $10 more than the last version, and it's now $170. And Cal wants to know, would anyone here spend $170 for a Brooks trail shoe though? I do feel like it is a big ask. Think about it. It's at $170. You're $10 cheaper than an Invincible, and you're $30 cheaper than a than the Elliott Runner, right? So that's kind of where it's at. In terms of other trail shoes though, I think we can go down the list. If you looked at I don't know, a Speed Goat. What's the Speed Goat cost? $185, something like that. What's a Mafate cost? $180. So you're getting a lot of shoe with those other shoes. You are getting a lot with the Catamount, but it's it's a hard sell for me. It's fun, but 170 is a lot for a trail shoe. I agree. I'm am I really getting something out of this that I can't get out of a Torrent? I think it's better than the Torrent, but I don't know. Matthias says, not me. I wouldn't. Matthias would not spend 170 on a trail shoe. Eliza wants to know how many schnitzels Cole will be eating. Like, here's the thing. Like when my wife and I first met, I was not vegetarian, and her family is has a lot of German heritage in it. So we did a lot. We went and there's a lot of German stuff in Chicago too, like the Christmas markets. That comes from a very well, I guess a European or Northern European tradition, but a very German tradition as well. And so, like, I'm very familiar with a lot of the German meats. Maybe not super familiar, but like as familiar as a kid from the Midwest can be, right? And so, it'd be a shame to go over there and not have a good schnitzel, right? I mean, like a labor case. I don't know. I don't want to like jack myself too much up because I am tapering for a PR attempt in Tokyo, and I am going to then also travel to Tokyo. So like, I'm not going to go too crazy and introduce a whole bunch of crazy new things, but maybe a sampling here and there. I think there'll be some sampling. All right. Frank says, I'm at the point of the training block where you feel simultaneously like you are woefully underprepared and also like you don't want to work so hard for so many more weeks. That's a tough time to be at in the block, Frank. I am at the part where I'm like, every run is like, I'm basically at the taper. Can I just stop now? That's kind of where I'm at. Today, I was out there on the trails. I tested out the Challenger 7 ATR. Challenger 7 ATR, or is it Challenger ATR 7? The Gore-Tex. And I was just on some hills, and on some of the steeper uphills, I just started walking because it was snow covered. On one of the uphills, I just stopped and I walked and ate a snack. I've been taking these little granola bars with me that my kids don't like, and I ate that like walking uphill, and then I hit the hill a second time and I walked it the second time, and I'm like, I should cut this loop short. I ended up doing the full loop, but I'm getting tired. I feel you. Thomas Wen is here and says, hi, everyone. First live stream in a while for me. Love the review on the Catamount 2, Cousin Co. My red ones are on order and coming shortly to me, says Calvin Huang. So Thomas Wen is going to buy it for 170. I mean, it's not. Here's the thing. Like, I don't know what shoes should cost anymore because I feel like we were at the point where when I first started reviewing shoes, it was like 110 was a good price for a shoe, but a lot of shoes were at 120. And then everything was at 120 for a while, and every once in a while it should be at 130. And then I feel like the pandemic hit and like prices just jumped on all the shoes. And then shoes are at like 130, 140, 150, and 160. And now it's like before, like there weren't shoes that were like more than 150. And then you got to like 250, So there's this big gap between 150 and 250. And I guess, whenever there's a pricing gap, they'll be pricing to fill the gap at some point. But it just, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, shoes are just much, much more expensive. And it's disappointing. But it's like, then you do the game. Like, well, if this shoe is worth that, and then this shoe is worth that. And then all of a sudden, like, any shoe seems to be worth it at 150, But I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a recalibration and there needs to be a little bit of a reset. So I don't think we're going to get it, but I'd love to see it. Matthew Acornero says, because of that, I only buy last year's models. Can't wait for the Vaporfly 3s to come out so I can stock up on the 2s. Yeah, I have a feeling that even when the 3s come out, they'll still be making a lot more new. Oh, when my hand did that, the camera went crazy focus-wise. I think when the 3s come out, they'll still release new colors of the 2. I think that it's going to kind of be, I think the way that Nike treats, since they don't update and they're not going, I don't think they're going to update their racing shoes every year. I think it's going to kind of be like iPhones, where there's iPhone 14s, but I think they're still making iPhone 13s and selling them, they're just a little bit cheaper now. I think that's kind of what's going to happen. But I do think there will be then some of the older colors of the 2s that go on sale. But then at the same time, I feel like the brilliance of that model, the way that Nike does it, is that like in your mind, the Vaporfly 2 is a 175 shoe because sometimes you can find it at that price. Now, will you be able to find it at that price when you need to buy one? That's another question, which just means like, well, then when you see the deal, you got to get it. But like every time I go look for any of those shoes in my size, they're never available on sale, if they're even available in my size at all. So like, it's brilliant. They way they like, we're like, oh well, I can't find one on sale this time, so I'll just pay full price. And you pay $250 for the shoe, and you don't even think about it. It's just like, Ooh, and 1HP says Nike just deleted the Alphafly OG. It's not on the site anymore. Interesting. Because I feel like that shoe is still more popular than Alphafly 2. And Lou says Saucony just went on sale. All of Saucony. Same with Adidas. Oh, interesting. It's an interesting time of year for running shoes. I think this is like such a kind of a dead spot, which it really shouldn't be if you think about it, because there's all these spring marathons coming up, right? But yeah, people. I think the bulk of people only run in the summertime when it's nice out, and so like until like we start seeing some spring weather, and we start seeing a lot more of the releases, that's when we'll start seeing more shoes. And then now they're just kind of like getting rid of everything else, making room. Mark Peterson says, I think I've only bought one of my 4 Vaporflies, 1 or 2, for full price. I don't think I've ever paid a discount price for a Vaporfly shoe. Like the 4%, the Flyknit, 4% Flyknit, Next Percent, or Alphafly. I think I bought them all. I think I bought them all at full price. I was thinking about it as I was filming the Brooks Catamount video, because I feel like the last several videos in a row are shoes that were sent to me. And in my mind, I still feel like I get most of my shoes myself, that I buy them. But I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be true this year. But then I don't know. I think I'm going to have to look at the numbers at the end of the year. I think that the shoes that I do buy are typically full price, expensive shoes. So like it ends up being a lot, I think. I don't know. Mark says, I think it's going to be the OG Flyknit on the Vaporfly 3. It looks, I mean, here's the thing. When Nike wants to do Flyknit, it does it really well, whether it's called like Atom Knit, all those other things. Like, I think the most beautiful upper that Nike ever made was on it was like the Vaporfly Elite. It was like a 3D printed shoe that like went on the resale market for like $1,100 to $1,500 a pair. I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually run in it. Tyler, chimp named Enid on Instagram, lives in Atlanta. He's friends with Drew Whitcomb. I'm guessing because they're both tall, but like he has a pair. I think he has 2 pairs of them. I don't know if he still has 2 pairs of them, but I remember we had a conversation one time. He told me he had 2 pairs of them, one in size like 5 and one in size like 13. One for his size that he bought, and then another one just because he could buy one, and he got it. So I don't know. Is that what it's called, Tony Macias? It's a fly print. Is that what it's called? Yeah, that was such a gorgeous material. And you know what? I feel like the Endorphin Pro 3 is kind of like reminds me of that, the way that it like kind of shimmers, like a fish scale kind of shimmer. So, but that was a beautiful upper, and that's right, fly print. Oh man, so nice. So nice. Richard Wilson says, if you want a timely review, you need to pay full price for sure. By the time it's on sale, a review is too late. Yeah. I think that if I were to start a YouTube channel now, and I was like, how do I review shoes? Like I'm not getting them for free, like all these other guys. I think what I would do is I would only buy discount shoes, and I would do like, I don't know if you guys see on YouTube, like, is an iPhone 12 still worth it in 2023? Is like the Sony A6300 still a good value in 2023? Like, and I would make videos like that, but with like, is the Brooks Ghost 12? I don't know what number they're on now. I think they're on like 15, 16. If you just find the oldest one you can find, like from Brooks still, or from like a reputable place, and like do value stuff like that. That's what I would do. So there's a ways to do around it. I'm just not interested in. I just don't want to really run in a Brooks Ghost number 1, and I don't really want to do a Brooks Ghost 12. I don't know. All right, Stephen C1984 says StockX has a Vaporfly Elite for 2,910 pounds. He says, I'll have to skip it at that price. At what price would you get it? I don't know. I don't know what I mean, I'm not that interested in it now. At the time, I was very interested in it, but like I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go for it. Vittoria Vitali says, "All right, I'm gonna open that channel right now." I think that there's like if I were to start one, and I give this advice to people all the time, because people will like ask me and like people will direct message ask me stuff, which I feel like is an annoying place to ask this question. Is like, yeah, but I live in India. What can I get for under 2,000 or whatever? I don't even know what the currency is in India, I'm afraid. Or like I'm in Brazil. What do you recommend? Well, in Brazil, I say watch Tenecerto and ask them because they're in Brazil and they're putting out excellent content. But like the other thing that I would do is like make it hyper local, especially if it's another country that gets different distribution than the US does. Like doing that and like, here are the best shoes available in Canada isn't that interesting, but like Australia would be interesting, or like Singapore or India. Like those I think would be super interesting. You wouldn't get a huge American audience, but like you could dominate the Singaporean audience or the Indian audience. That's kind of the other thing that I would do. I mean, high roll, what can I get for under 500 rupees? Yeah. Matthias Vento says, are they still worth it videos? I watched those. I'm going to replace the battery on this phone until I can't get the OS updates. I mean, how much better can the phone get? I think it depends on if you're into phones, right? And I try to think about that when I make shoe videos too. Because like for me, I'm still rocking an iPhone 11 Pro. I even broke the screen when I was down in Austin. And I was like, I should just get the new phone. Because I'm like, at this point, I'll just get a new phone. How old is this phone now? Let's just do it. And I was like, no, for like $100, I can get a new screen put on there. So I put a new screen on it. Because for me, I'm at peak phone. There's nothing that I'm like wishing my phone would do. Like it's different. Like I don't use my phone for work anymore. I'm not using it for like mission critical communications. The things that I'm talking about are like, where's the meetup? It's not like bet the business kind of stuff that's happening, at least not on my end. So like I'm not urgent with the phone. I'm not scheduling like crazy like I used to schedule stuff before with the phone. I'm not planning stuff, producing stuff, all that stuff. It's just a phone for me now. So I'm like, I'm maxed out. I don't need a better phone. I mean, like the newer cameras are nice, but like some people care about that stuff, and for them, yeah, get the new one. So I think it just depends on where your interests are. Calvin Wong thinks I should make a video. Are the Asics GT 2000 still best lawn mowing shoes? I feel like any shoe with a good outsole is still a good lawn mowing shoe. I wouldn't buy a pair of running shoes to use to mow the lawn though. Dr. Funk says, first time at the live stream with the new background. Very reminiscent of Ben Johnson's room. I wonder how many pairs of Nike sneakers he has. Yeah, like he has a different kind of shelf than I do though, because this doesn't have I think you're just looking at his wall behind his shelves. I don't think he has, like this has a white backer on the back. It is a little bit, I mean, it's the same. It's a shoe wall. All shoe walls kind of look the same. Like I thought about for a while, like, so a couple of other people that have very similar walls that are like much more elaborate than mine, because this is just 10 shelves. But like Hez Kicks has a huge wall, and like he even has his camera set up, so he's like super small in the image. Like he's as high as like this microphone goes in his image, so you could see like the hundreds of shoes he has on his wall. And then someone else that that this wall reminds me of is, I don't know, unless you guys have kids that watch YouTube, you guys won't know FGTV. But FGTV, I think like 2 houses ago, when they did a lot of videos about, I forget what the thing was called, but there were toys and there were like Skylanders. They collected all these Skylanders and they had them on the wall and just shelves with rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of toys. White shelves like this, but without this beam in the middle. So really long shelves, nothing but toys. all very well arranged, you know. So there's a lot of like YouTubers that do this. It's not a very original idea. I mean, if you Google like using a IKEA Billy bookcase for hold shoes, you'll find like a million videos. So it's not me. I didn't make it up. I'm not claiming to. Yeah. 1HP says Hez makes good content. Not for me, but I still watch him occasionally. Yeah, I check in every once in a while. I used to watch it like every single video that he made just because I was like, when I was watching him, there wasn't a lot of other just shoe content. And every once in a while he would get deep into a shoe. He would talk about, he'd talk about like Vapor Maxes, Ultra Boost, things like that. Occasionally Pegasus and stuff. I think he reviewed the Turbo. I had a conversation with ASICs about Hez, and they were like, because I was like, I don't know if he commented on one of mine or I commented on one of his, and some of our ASICs saw it and they were messaging. They're like, hey, do you know Hez? I'm like, I've interacted with him on Instagram, maybe a couple DMs, but that's about it. I don't really know him. And they're like, all right, because he was like, it was on my Super Blast video. Hez was like, this looks great. And then ASICs was asking me about if I knew him. And I was like, I don't know. You want me to ask if he wants a pair? And they're like, well, we'll see what we can do. And then like a week later, he made a video about the Super Blast. So I think ASICs got in touch with him. They found him, I guess. Sean Devlin says, I need a wall of black and gray shoes to match the aesthetic. Yeah, there is a lot of color up here, isn't there? Yeah. That would be amazing if like one of these like entire panels was just black and gray shoes. That'd be nice. Calvin says for Hez, every Max Cushion shoe ends up in his channel as most comfortable shoe ever? ? It does. You know who else does that? Seth Fowler. It's like the same thing for running. If it's just for running shoes. I think he also has reviewed the SC Trainer. But it's interesting to me to see that because I'm like, all right, well, like I don't watch his reviews before I make mine, but I feel like, oh man, maybe I should if he releases his before I release mine. Because then I'm like, all right, well, people are going to be searching for it because Hez made a video. So I should like probably find ways to address or weave in or dovetail what he's saying. But I don't plan that far ahead. So I won't probably. But that would be smart of me if I did. Mark said that Hez did review the Turbo and even did an Ultra Burst versus Turbo video. Yeah, I'd love to go running with them at some point. You know what I mean? Like another guy that I'd like to go running with is Jakey Cho. He's huge on TikTok. I don't know if he makes any YouTube content. He puts a lot of his stuff on Instagram too. But he's a guy out of New York. He does a variety of different types of content. He's a Korean guy, like I am. Even though it's not a running channel. It's mostly, a lot of it's about food and sometimes about Korean culture. But he's sponsored by On somehow. And so like it's a really weird combo to me. But he has started running ever since he started getting all these On shoes. So I feel like at some point, I feel like there's room for a collaboration there sometime. Maddie Mac says, you're the first one to notice it because I only put him up there, I think, yesterday, maybe the day before. Maddie Mac says, the Hokas over your left shoulder, top corner of the screen are absolutely hilarious compared to the shoes around them. Yeah, these are the 10.9s. See how much they stick out from the shelf? They're such a big shoe. It's giant. It's a giant shoe. I love this shoe. The upper is actually very comfortable. It's just the rest of the shoe is just, and then like this Achilles flare, it's almost vulgar, like the way it looks. But this whole thing works. It's comfortable. The rest of the shoe is just a little bit kind of silly, an interesting exercise, but like I still kind of think it's a April Fool's Day joke because it was released on April 1. Like when it released like 4 years ago. I think you could still buy them. They did not sell out of these. I think Running Warehouse still has a few pairs. Matthias Spencer says, is On an influencer brand or just heavy in influencer marketing? I mean, here I've had many conversations with people about this. not saying that everyone agrees with me, but I've told this to a lot of people, probably to too many people. But like I love everything that On is doing. I just don't always love their shoes. That's a problem. They've got a great pro team. It seems like they've got really great spikes and racing flats to support that pro team. But like I'm at like 98 miles on my On Cloud Monsters, and like I'm very excited to be done with running that shoe. I'm gonna go in one more little run to get over the 100-mile mark. But like I just don't always love the shoes. I feel like the Cloud Stratus wasn't bad. I like that one. But I don't know. The clothes look great. They got hot real fast in like kind of like running style. So like you'd see it at the airport. I'd see a lot of the parents at like school pickup wearing them in the city. You know, the gear looks always beautiful. But like I just my neighbor loves On shoes. He has many pairs of On shoes. But like I don't always love their shoes to actually run in. So that's kind of where the disconnect is for me. And then maybe that's where your kind of question comes from, Matthias. I don't know. Go Running with Oliver has a video question. He says, where do you get music for your videos? Do you have to pay to use them? I do. I use a service called Epidemic Sound. There's a link, an affiliate link, in the description of all my videos if you want to sign up. But it's not cheap. It's like $15 a month, but I make 3 videos a week. And sometimes, especially for like the weekend videos, sometimes it's like 7 or 8 songs. And I feel like for those videos, especially because they're like travel videos, you really got to get the right feel in the music. And so like that's been crucial for me to be able to make those, and just the amount of time I save by not having to try and find like, you know, royalty free music on the internet. And by the way, like basically before I use Epidemic Sound, I would spend every like couple of weeks, I'd spend a couple of hours just sitting down trying to find, you know, decent songs that I might like that I could use for free in air quotes. And then now, like 2 years later, all those are getting snagged back. People are claiming them. I mean, those are small videos that have like 100 views each kind of thing, but like maybe not 2 years ago, whenever I started using Epidemic Sound, maybe 3 or 4. But like, it's just, if you're regularly making videos, you don't have to use Epidemic Sound. I talked with Eric Floberg. He loves Soundbed is the name of it. He swears by it. He says he's been using it for like 5 or more years. He has affiliate codes too, I think. But so those are some options. And Potato Jet, Gene Nagata, he worked with something else. I forget what it's called. The pricing is a little different on that one, but you can actually use like popular music, stuff that's like people would be more familiar with. But the pricing structure is a little different. So there's lots of different ways to do it, but I feel like they're all worth it because the music is so important to the way the video goes. So Calvin says like the 10.9s might be a collector's item down the road, an iconic piece of history. Yeah, I'm definitely holding on to them. You know what I can't find? I was looking for it the other day. I can't find the zebra print CTM, the Craft CTM Ultra Carbon. That's a really important shoe to me. I don't know where I put it. I know it's in a box somewhere, but that's an important shoe to me because Thomas gave me that shoe. And it's like that was the first like early shoe I ever got. And I didn't get it directly from the brand. I got it from Thomas, but that also makes it special too. I don't know where I put it. I did find my other like kind of like sentimental shoes. Although I don't know where those bronze Nike shoes went. My wife says she knows where they are. They're somewhere here in the basement, but I don't know. 1HP says, didn't Hoka make a 10.9 boot? Yeah, they have a whole line. There's multiple 10.9 boots. None of them are as crazy as the actual 10.9. So I made a video a while back saying like, you know, you got to make some weird shoes if you're going to innovate. And Hoka / Deckers is very good at making weird shoes. But I think with the 10.9, they were able to then develop an entire line of hiking boots that I think is pretty successful. I mean, I don't know that much about the hiking boot market. I don't have any data, but I feel like with the number of models that they have, and they look great. I think it's pretty successful. All right. Aaron's Basement says, "Have you tried using the Apple Watch Ultra yet?" I haven't. I don't know that I'm going to try. I feel like this winter didn't get nasty enough is my short answer. I was waiting for like really brutal temperatures to get it. We had 2 like blasts of cold weather. One was very early, I think right when the Apple Watch Ultra came out, so I wasn't able to get it then. And then we had another week where we had like literal sub-zero Fahrenheit temperatures, and I didn't have it at that point. I should have just got it at that point when I saw that like it was going to be sub-zero for a week. Because like I'm only interested in testing like, will it die? But I've also been pretty impressed with my regular Apple Watch SE. It's only died on me like once or twice, which is much better than my Apple Watch 4. But I think ultimately, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I need to test it. Calvin, so would you be interested in testing the Phoenix 7X? Probably not. I don't know. I'm getting less and less interested in testing watches anymore these days. I don't know. If they could just make an Apple Watch like Max or something like that, like the size of the Apple Watch Ultra, but like still a small screen and just battery. Like it just doesn't last long enough for me. That's the thing. Downer Al says that the hikers laugh at the 10.9 boot. Do they really? I didn't know that. That's interesting. I actually don't know any like. Well, I guess my brothers-in-law are hikers. They're more bike guys though. I don't know. Downer Al calls them city slicker boots. See, that's why they appeal to me. I don't know what I'm doing. The movie City Slickers 2 was on like a bunch of times lately on TV, and it just reminds me that like City Slickers, the first one, is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. I'm older. It doesn't feel like it, but I'm much older. Me and my friends are much older than like Billy Crystal and his friends were when they went on this middle-aged kind of like rediscovery trip kind of thing. That makes me feel very old. Oh yeah, Wayne says music is sound bed, but he meant music bed. I meant to say sound bed, but I remembered it wrong. If music bed the one that Eric Floberg uses, I don't actually know. I've never checked it out, so I don't know. Aaron said you'd be interested in an Apple Watch Ultra for 30 days with no phone video without using a Garmin. I could use it. Yeah, I'd be fine without having a Garmin, no phone. Because that's how I still use my Apple Watch now. I try to like not have my phone unless I intentionally need it. Because I kind of tend to like leave it places on purpose. Like when I go for my run, I don't bring my phone with me. Not that I was gonna look at it a lot anyway. I just want to get out of the habit of just always having to have it. And then like when I came down here, I left it upstairs somewhere. You know, because the more you have it on you, the more you're going to use it. So if I'm just in the habit of not having it on me, then I won't use it as much. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Dad Earner Al says, which character do you relate with the most on City Slickers? You know, I do think I need to watch it again, but I think that the character that I relate to the most is the 2 ice cream guys. Because of the way that I review shoes. And I think I've told you guys this before. So I started adding in the YouTube videos for the shoe reviews. Like this shoe pairs well with, like today, you know, like Catamount 2. What does it pair with? I don't know. Brooks Hyperion Max and Puma Velocity 2 Nitro. Puma Velocity Nitro 2. And sometimes people are like, oh yeah, that's a really great pairing. And I'm like, I think so. But it's also just kind of like, is it? It's great conversation fodder, and I also think that it helps people kind of think about shoes in a rotation, which I think is helpful for people, but it's also pretty personal. But there's a scene in City Slickers, I think it's in City Slickers 1, it might be 1 or 2, where the two ice cream, have I told you guys the story? Where the two ice cream guys are like playing a game where it's like, pork chops, applesauce, and like asparagus. What would go well with that? And he's like, and he picks an ice cream flavor, and they're like, yes. And then the guy with the mustache, he's like, well, how do I know you're right? And he's like, we're ice cream moguls. There were like 7 million units sold last year. That's how you know I'm right. And so that's just what it feels like a lot of time. So I feel like I'm the ice cream guys in City Slickers, if anyone. Super says it's in City Slickers 1. Super knows. he knows the scene. Dad runner out says LOL. That's funny. All right, Daniel Burton wants to know, how many miles do you run in a week? Right now, I've been averaging like high 70s for like the past 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I don't know. This week I'll probably hit about 80, maybe a little bit more than that. Last week I think I hit 80. The last 2 weeks before that was high 70s, and the last 2 weeks before that was 80 each. So what's that? 4, 6 weeks. Yeah, I did look at my Metathon the other day because you guys remember we were talking about that. And Metathon takes your last 8 weeks of Strava data. And so those the first 2 80-mile weeks that I talked about was when I was like kind of ramping back up after CIM and after I got COVID. And so week number 1 of 8 was like a 30-mile week. And week number 2 of 8 was like a 50-mile week. And then, like 6 80-mile weeks. And because of that, it really penalized me. So like my Metathon prediction was like 3:15, which I think is very off of where I think my fitness is right now. So it's just I don't know that Metathon. I think Metathon needs to be adjusted. I don't think it's that accurate anymore. I think it's probably accurate for the way most people run, but if you're really doing 80-20, if you're really taking your easy days easy, I think it's bad. But anyway, that doesn't really directly address Daniel's question. But right now I'm at peak training for a marathon, like my peak mileage. So it's like about 80. Normally on like a normal week, I'm at like 60 to 70. I like to be around like 10 miles a day. Pork and Bean says, how do you feel about the Deviate Nitro 2 for a forgiving race shoe? I haven't tried the Deviate Nitro 2, and I've asked Puma to send one to me. But they never responded, like yes or no. They did send me the Deviate Elite 2, but they haven't sent me the Deviate Nitro 2. And so I just don't know if they're like the way their product seeding works. Like they already sent out all the ones that they're going to send out. So it's like now it's like a problem because it's annoying that I asked too late, but I don't know. But I haven't tried that one. But like if they put a big fat stack height of Deviate of their Nitro Elite foam in that, and then I think that's going to be a real good shoe. I'm very excited to try it. And that's one where I'm like, I was about to just buy it the other day, but I was like, it's like what, $180? And I was like, I should reach out. It's not urgent that I get it. So maybe it'll take a little time, but I'll reach out and see if I can get it. And then I just never got a response. So I don't know. Morgan Keeler says, fall half marathon suggestions around Chicago for a first timer. Well, you got the Hoka half marathon. It's like a Hoka lifetime half marathon. I don't know what the official name of it is, but it's usually 2 weeks before the Chicago Marathon. That's a really good one. That's a fun one. It's a big race. It's a very big race. But that'll especially if I get if it's your first time, you're probably not also running the Chicago Marathon, but a lot of people do run both, or if it's sometimes people think 2 weeks is too close to race day, and so sometimes a lot of people will go and cheer for that one if they're running Chicago. But that's a good one. I'm trying to think if there are any other ones that I think of. That's usually the one that I do. Calvin says that's the one with the big medals, right? Yes. I think now Lifetime is doing that with all the races. Because remember that big medal I got in Miami had the spinner on it? A Lifetime race. Also a Lifetime and a Hoka race. So Lifetime and Hoka together. So another big gigantic medal. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. I got a package today, so I figured I'd do a little unboxing. It's from Alter Ego. They are out of, let's see, where are they out of? Yeah, Florida. So I'd been talking with the guys at Alter Ego for a little while on Instagram. We've been like messaging back and forth. And then I was down in Miami for the half marathon there. And they were like, "Oh, hey, you should just come and see us. We're at the expo." And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course I will." So I got a chance to go and talk to the guys and meet them there. And they had a pretty cool booth at the expo. It was real nice. So they said they were going to send me something. So let's see what it is. All right, we got a handwritten note. It says Mr. Kofuzi. Thanks so much for checking us out. Hope you love our gear. Oh, that's nice. All right. Oh, they got a lot of stuff in here. They even put some notes in each of the packages for me. There's a lot of stuff in here. All right. Oh, this one's nice. Alter Ego running. Looks nice and ventilated, which makes sense for a Florida company. It says glow in the dark stitching, water resistant and reflective. I don't think you can tell, but this lettering, it's all very reflective. It's like popping for me. And then no note in this one, but let's see. Oh, this one's hard to open. I try not to like tear it open like a bear would open a package, but this one is like, I don't know what color this is, but it's tripping my eyes out a little bit. Is it like purple? I don't know, but it's cool. It's got a little palm tree. See, I thought for a while that they were a South Carolina based company because the South Carolina flag is palm trees, or I think it's all palmettos, but they all, to a northerner like me, they all kind of look the same. But I like this one. And then on the back, this Alter Ego running thing, it comes protected. It's got a little like plastic vinyl kind of patch on there. I thought it was maybe metallic at first. But look, on the inside, it's got a lot of that color. And again, that like nice ventilated stuff. So come summertime, I think these are going to be nice hats to have. Well, they sent a bunch. There's a lot in here. I like that they have a variety of like the logos. So that way they don't all say like Alter Ego real big on the front. This one is nice. This one's a little bit more subtle. It's got two palm trees, and then I don't know if you could see it. And then a little running shoe in the middle to let you know it's a running hat. Nice. And then one more thing in here. See, they packed a lot in this box. If I can get it open. Came in a little baggie and sunglasses. Just poked myself in the eye with them. There we go. Look at that. These are nice and reflective. I like that. And then it says Alter Ego running on the side. And then it's got little grippy bits on the earpieces so that they stay on your head, and a nice spring-loaded. No, they're not springs. I thought they were springs, not springs, but a flexible frame. UV 400 protection. Nice. So that's that stuff. You'll start seeing them in videos once it warms up a little bit. Although the sunglasses I might start using sooner. I had to have sunglasses today. It was snowy out, and then the sun hitting the snow. It was like a cloudless day, really cold but very crisp outside and lots of sun. I had to wear sunglasses running through the trails today. That was kind of wild. Not that unusual, but I normally don't wear sunglasses when I'm running the trails. All right. Mark Peterson says, I rewatched several of the 2021 New York City Marathon videos this morning in the background while at work, and I got so hyped for running it in the fall. That's cool. I did not sign up for the lottery. My running buddy did. He's like, did you sign up? I'm like, I think I'm gonna watch it this year. Ran it last year. As much as I enjoyed running it, and I'm glad I got a chance to run it once, I really enjoy filming that race. I enjoy like running around the city, trying to catch the pros, trying to find my friends, like navigating the crowds. Like that was super fun for me. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that again for 2023. That's my plan currently. So I'll see you out there. I'll look for you. Aaron says about Hoka and Lifetime Connection. Hoka is an official sponsor of Lifetime Fitness gyms, so it makes sense. That I didn't know. I didn't know that like a business would need sponsorship from another business like that. You know what I mean? Like, well, I guess like Hoka does Leadville too, so it's like Hoka Lifetime Leadville. So all these events are Hoka and Lifetime. Is that how it works? Interesting. New veteran wants to know, is how long a shoe has been available a consideration when picking shoes to buy? Like if there's already been a lot of video made for a given shoes? I mean, the only time that it would be a consideration is if like you're worried about it going away. Like if you really like it and you're worried that they're going to change it for next year, then I would say like then that's something you should think about when you're picking the shoe. Like if you have a hard time, like my running buddy, he has a hard time finding a shoe that agrees with him. And so like it takes him a while to find a shoe he likes. But when he does, then he just buys a bunch of it over and over again. Like the 1080 version 11 he loved. So he bought a bunch of those. He likes Brooks Ghosts for some reason. And so I tell him, don't worry, they're never changing the shoe. Even if they completely change it and make it all new, it's still going to feel the same. So don't worry. You can always get that one. So that's when you might worry. But like he also loved the Beacon and that one went away, you know? So like that's the only thing that I worry about in terms of how long a shoe's been available, in terms of how it should affect my purchasing decision. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm answering your question though. Santosh Catwell says, hey, Cone fam, good to be here after a long time. Looking to run Chicago this year, my first one, but not sure how. Did not get the lottery and charity seems difficult. Any other ways? Those are the ways. So, yeah. Charity does seem difficult. It is a lot. I did not enjoy doing a charity bit. I just don't like asking like my friends and family for stuff like that. So like I don't like doing it. Luis Becerra says, any review or update on the sweat thing you were trying out on the treadmill? Yeah, so it comes with it came with 4 sweat patches. So I get to use it like 4 times before I got to spend money on it or ask them to send me more. So I use it 3 times and I feel like, you know, I've gotten kind of the same result every time. So I feel like that's pretty consistent and not changing. So I feel like it's enough to review it. But then someone was like, someone in the Instagram comment, because I'd shown it in a couple of Instagram reels, and someone was like, yeah, it's too bad it's super inaccurate. And I was like, how do you know that it's super inaccurate? Like, unless you're a person who has access to like laboratory sweat testing, like where you can actually take the sweat, like lift it off a person and then like analyze its chemical composition. Like, I don't know how you can say that, you know? Like, I just don't understand where someone, but I'm like, how do I know that it is accurate? You know? Then the thing was like, and the thing that I think is like super important about it is that it says based on how much you sweat, like here's how much fluid you should take in, and here's which fluid you should take in. But the fluid that it recommended for me is the fluid that I already use, Scratch. And so like it would have been better if it was like, oh, you should try Element because you're losing way more electrolytes and you need something that has more electrolytes. Or you should use, you know, Martin, or you should use Noon Hydration or whatever. But it gave me a recommendation of the thing that I'm already using. So I can't tell like if it helped. You know what I mean? So like I'm trying to wrap my head around like how to like figure that part out. I guess the one thing I can figure out is like based on how much it's telling me to drink, do I feel better when I actually drink that much? Which I'm like, it's telling me to drink way more than I want. And then way more than I feel is necessary. But I don't know, maybe I just have to think about like how do I talk about it. So that's all. Mark wants to know, is it just me or is the lettering on the Kapuzi Path non-elite shirt also reflective? On the black one it is. And on the hat it should be a little bit, I think. I don't know how good the reflectiveness is in it. But on the t-shirt, that one is not reflective. But yeah. All right. So Thomas once said for this shirt, this hat, this is Miami colors. This is Miami colors. These are my Miami colors. Okay. Under the bill. Okay. Jody says it's pink and blue. This is pink and blue. My eyes are so off. See, when I look at it on the camera and I'm looking at my screen, okay, maybe I see it. But when I look at it directly, I'm like, there's so much purple in here. It's all just shades of fuchsia. So my eyes are just going nuts. These hats, especially this one too, because it's reflective, just my eyes are weirding out right now. Yeah. CV76 says, what did the man get when he ran into a palm tree? Face palm. There you go. No. There we go. All right. Fat Cow says, Yo, Kofuzi, what do you think about the concept of Amazing shoes? Each of their 6 models are apparently tuned for specific paces. For example, 4:30 to 5:30 per minutes per mile, down to 10 to 12 minutes per mile. Yeah, I got a chance to see the entire line of Amazing shoes at TRE. I wasn't super interested in going, but Drew Whitcomb really wanted to go, and Ashley thought it was somewhat interesting to go. I don't know if Ashley was interested. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but Drew was like, "We got to go to this," and I was like, "Okay, well, you set up the appointment, so I'll go." But I don't know. The idea is interesting, and in essence, it's not super different than the way I currently differentiate between max cushion shoes and what I think a max cushion shoe should do, what a daily trainer should do, speed day, and racing shoe. Right. But like what I don't think we need to do is put like a pace on it. I think you need to put an effort on it, not a pace. Right. Here's my premise. Like conceptually, it disagrees with like everything that I've been saying as a reviewer. I feel like a Nike Pegasus, for example, should feel the same to me at my easy pace as it feels to Eliud Kipchoge at Eliud Kipchoge's easy pace. Eliud Kipchoge's easy, well, I guess that's a bad example because Eliud Kipchoge runs his easy pace at my easy pace. But like, I think about someone like Dakota Lidworm, who runs her easy paces at like 6:30, and she admits that they're too fast, but that's just how she likes to run her easy paces, right? For for that is my like, that's kind of like my half marathon pace. And so maybe a little bit faster than my half marathon pace. So that's something that at that pace, I want to wear a race shoe. But I think at that pace for her, she'd be like, why am I wearing a race shoe? This is ridiculous. Right. So like, I think that like the idea of nailing it to a pace is weird. And I feel like it's very exclusionary too. And so like the other thing that we just talked about earlier this week was the A6 S4, which I think is it might be a Japan only release, but it might just be an Asia release. And the idea with that is that's a shoe for people trying to go sub 4 in the marathon. And my understanding, and no one is correcting me on this, so, and I'm very excited to go try it and check out a Japanese running store to see if it's true. My understanding is over there, with the way they line up shoes is the way that Vimezi does it, where it's like, if you're like a 5 or 6 hour marathoner, you get to pick from like these shoes. But if you're a sub 3 marathoner, you get to pick from these flashy, nice looking shoes over here. And even if you want to buy these nice flashy shoes, if you're over here, you don't get to look at them. We're not even going to show them to you. So like it kind of has that like air of like, no, you're not good enough for that, you know? So like, I don't conceptually have some problems with the idea. And in terms of execution, I don't think the shoes are ready for the market yet. They got a long way to go, I think. But yeah. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know that they watched the live stream, but they did ask for like a follow. They just emailed me the other day. They're like, "Hey, just following up. Wanted to know what you guys thought about the shoes that we gave you." And I'm not going to answer that question. Daniel Brown wants to know if I'm ever going to run Pikes Peak. I would love to do that one day. It's just going to kick my butt. It would take forever. My wife has been to Pikes Peak. She's driven up it, you know. She's gone to the top to do the sightseeing tour thing. But I don't know. It's not really in my wheelhouse of things to do. But it's, I mean, a lot. YouTube seems to like when I have videos where I'm just punishing myself. And that would be a pretty big punishment. All right, let's see. Mark Peterson says about the Ghost never changing. He says, I thought the Nimbus would never change though too. That's a good point. That's a very good point. And the Nimbus has changed quite a bit. I guess like the way to know if the Brooks Ghost is ever going to change, if there starts to being like a Brooks Ghost light, if you see a Ghost light, then you know they're experimenting. But I don't know. I really don't think that the Ghost is going to change. But then again, the Nimbus went 24 models before a substantial change. But although I do think that the 24 was quite a departure. I don't know. Yeah. Mark wants to know, and this will probably be the last comment for today. Do they make you wear the charity singlet when you run a charity bib, or can you wear your own top? You can wear your own top. A lot of people like to wear the charity bib because then like other people who are also running that charity, like their family members, if they see you, they cheer for you, that kind of thing. And a lot of times, I wouldn't say a majority of the time, but sometimes wearing the charity singlet is a big draw for people. When I did the charity bib for the name of the charity's eluding me. I think I ran for them twice. Yeah, I think I ran for them twice. They kept giving us t-shirts, and they were not great t-shirts because they had this giant graphic printed on them, and it just became like basically like a wind blocker and like a trapped heat inside. So I never ended up running in their shirt, but I did a lot of my training runs in the shirt. So that way, you know, people along the lakefront would see the charity and bring awareness to it and all that stuff. All right. Well, let's do one more. Joshua Sudharma says, what do you do with all your shoes? Do you actually wear all of your shoes out until they're done? No, I don't wear them all out till I'm done. Typically, I only run about 100 miles in a shoe. That's the goal. Some shoes I end up with a lot more. Like the Super Blast has more than that on it. This Metaspeed Sky has quite a bit more on it. The Prime X has a lot more than that on it. And then some shoes have like very few miles on them. None of them up here though. Like the 10.9, I've only run in it like once or twice. It's just such a goofy shoe. I'm not going to run in that a lot. And the Nimbus, the secret edition Nimbus, I'm just going to leave it. I ran in it once, like 10 miles in it, and I'm not going to run it anymore. So some are less, but some I just don't get to finish because they're boring or I don't like them, so I might get rid of them. Right now, previously I just used to donate them to charity, or I give them to my nephew because he's a size 9. And he would just basically wear a different pair of shoes to school every day. But now that I have a house and a space to hold on to the shoes, I'm going to start, filling up this wall of bookshelves. So I'll start putting them up there, at least the ones that I like. The other ones that I don't like, I'll donate to charity. So usually about 100 miles. I don't, because I want to test more shoes. I feel like there's very little additional information that I can get from miles 100 to 300. And instead, it'd be more valuable to me, and I think to people watching my videos, to review 2 additional shoes to 100 miles each. So that's kind of my take on it. All right, that's going to be it for today, guys. Next week, I'll be traveling. I'll be abroad, so I won't be able to do live stream. I'll let you guys know if we do one on next Friday, but let's say for now, probably not. So I will see you guys not next week at all, but the following week for a couple more days, and then I'll be going to Tokyo. So it's going to be like really sporadic. So I appreciate the time that I get to spend with you guys, because we don't always get to spend it. So thanks for sticking around all the way through the end. There'll still be videos coming out in the meantime, so I'll see you guys like in the comments and stuff. But until I do see you guys in the live stream again, everybody, be safe out there. Thanks.